What's up, YouTube? This is Oblivion Duelist X, and today we're gonna be doing another how to girls Yugituber thing. Yeah, we have Intch95, my buddy Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. So you know the drill, right? 'Cause
Yep.
yeah, I ask you 10 questions, and you answer them any way you want. You can say anything you want. There are no restrictions on Oblivion Duelist X's channel, and yeah.
Yep.
Okay, number one, how did you get into YouTube?
I used to actually help one of my close friends at the time when YouTube first was made, like 06, 07 ish. He used to do a lot of magic trick videos on the channel, and we used to use it together. And then after we both played Yu-Gi-Oh, and he used to do like actual magic tricks, and that was what we first used to do. And then we kind of started doing Yu-Gi-Oh videos. We would kind of alternate, and then he kind of got out of it, and we kind of just parted ways because of personal reasons and stuff. And then I just took over the channel, and I just started doing Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and I thought it'd be something fun to do.
What did you expect when you uploaded your first Yu-Gi-Oh video?
Dude, I don't even remember what my first video was. There's probably a bunch, but like when I first started like taking over the channel myself, I don't even know what my first video on there is. I think at the time, like the community, like quote unquote community, was so small. There wasn't really like any quote like community at that. Like it was just a couple people just doing it just to do a lot of trades maybe online. Like people didn't really trade online as much as they do now, and like that was pretty much the goal for a lot of people. I kind of just wanted to, like, I don't know, I guess help the game grow and maybe help a couple people that were like either new at the game, or I don't know, just kind of help the game grow a little bit.
What keeps you going?
Competition for sure. Wait, as far as playing the game or doing
Pl-
YouTube?
playing the game and YouTube.
For playing the game, it's competition. For doing YouTube, it's probably knowing that, like, if I can at least help one person, in like the slightest way, that's like enough for me. Because like the way I look at it is that's kind of tied into my competition. Because if I'm playing someone, that I've benefited like in the past through like a video or something, and they gotten better than they initially would have been if I had played them, um, that's better for me because it means I'm playing a potentially better player at that point. Not necessarily better than me, or at my level, but regardless of where they're at as far as skill set, they're better than they initially would have been, which means I'm getting quote unquote better competition, which means I have an opportunity to get better as far as my competitive play.
Okay. Would you ever do a different card game on your channel or discuss anime?
No, I don't know anything about anime. I actually didn't know what anime was until a little bit of, like, I want to say maybe a year ago. I didn't know what it was, and then I found out an anime is basically like Japanese cartoons, like DBZ. Like I know what DBZ is, but I don't really know like all the other, I guess, modern or contemporary animes that people watch. I'm just not into that stuff.
Okay. What's the deck you hate the most in your Yu-Gi-Oh career, and explain?
There's not really like one particular deck. I just hate anything that lacks player interaction. Burn, Exodia, uh, Final Countdown, I guess, Empty Jar. Like just decks that like can't really play Yu-Gi-Oh. Ophion deck. Like basically now what people call them is anything helmet. Like I want to be able to play a game against my opponent. I want it to be based more off of the play, like the actual interactiveness of the cards and stuff, than like me playing against their deck rather than playing against, like, I'd rather play against the player than play against the deck, if that makes sense. Like there's so many decks where it's not so much as the player is playing the deck, it's the deck is kind of playing them. Like, and one of the first decks I hated for a long time, which I still just hate. Like I just don't like the mechanic behind it, is Lightsworn, and I don't know. I felt like that was one of the first decks in Yu-Gi-Oh where the deck kind of just plays you. It was really just like user friendly.
Like mill, mill, mill. Oh, I got four. Let's see. I can
Like, yeah,
count.
like I feel it doesn't really take a high IQ to play that type of deck, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not trying to bash players that play that deck, but it's kind of just a fact.
Like, oh, I can count to one, two, three, four. Hey, I learned that in preschool. Oh, wait.
Like I don't know. Like it's just like the mechanic is super stupid. Like you're not really doing anything. It's kind of just like chance. Like if I was to play chance, I'd rather play something like blackjack or something. Heck, I may as well go play slots at like Vegas or in Vegas or whatever.
What deck do you love the most and why?
Well, there's a lot of decks. Oh shit. It's not so much as like decks. Like, I like specific formats. Like, people know I love Gladiator Beast. That's probably one of my all-time favorite archetypes. Um, I mean, obviously, I like water in recent formats. I don't know. In past formats, I'd probably say I like Monarchs a lot, like PCM and stuff. PC Monarchs, Troop Dupe Scoop, Go Control, obviously. Um, oh, that's a big one. I didn't really like Deity Return as much. I don't know. Deity Return was kind of stupid in my opinion, but Teledad was cool. Uh, what else? I like Cat format. I mean, I just like the deck, but obviously that deck
Oh,
was degenerate.
I
Uh,
love Rescue Cat.
yeah. Shoot, I don't know. Like, there's like I like specific formats. Like, I can't really say I like decks as much because like some decks will like live past the format, some decks won't. Some decks will just retain like one particular instance in their prime of a format, whereas like other decks will just either A die off or they'll continue and they'll kind of just fade into nowhere. It kind
Or,
of just depends. I pretty much like everything about Yu-Gi-Oh before 2009, I think, give or take. It's like a little bit like basically cat format and back.
or
Everything after that, I could kind of just care less about. Besides maybe like Baby Ruler format, like that was probably the only other thing in Mermails, obviously.
how long have you played Yu-Gi-Oh? And people are getting confused about this question when I ask it. I mean, how long have you played like it doesn't matter competitively or anything, just how long have you picked up the
Since the
deck?
game was technically since the game was released here in the U.S., but I had seen the game before it came over to the U.S. because I used to live in the Bay Area where if people know that's like San Francisco in California, and there's like a really like Asian community, and that particular community used to be behind like one of the like mainstream streets, like basically it was a different part. It was on the side of town where I used to go to school, like behind the school that I used to go to, and there used to be like a lot of like shops there, like little mini flea market areas. There used to be like all this stuff, and I remember a couple of my friends we used to go to like this little donut shop that used to be back behind the school, and I remember seeing like cards then, and they were all like Asian print cards at the time because they weren't out in the TCG. I don't even think we didn't even have it technically a TCG then. It was just an Asian card game at the time, and I remember like they just basically just showed me like it's basically like a card game, and I didn't really like it at the time, but that's like my first recollection of actually seeing the game. They basically just told me you just have to like look at the points and whatever has like a bigger number wins basically. So and then from there on, obviously like they started releasing like starter decks and LOB and MRD and all the beginning sets, and yeah, that's basically where I got my start.
What's your main goal as a quote unquote Yugi tuber?
As a Yugituber, to help people, I guess. I don't really like care about anything else because like if I can help someone, like I said, that's gonna potentially improve that person as a player, or their skill as a player rather, and it could potentially, if they're not a competitive player, as competitive players as they would have been, that would hopefully make them competitive, which means if I play them in the future, that means I could get better. I'm playing against better competition, which I think should be everyone's goal, but obviously not everyone's competitive.
What if someone like I mean this isn't like one of the questions, but what if someone wanted to be competitive, but they play like but they don't have the money or the to make the decks the number one decks out there?
Unfortunately, this game is a lot about resources, as far as not like actual in-game resources, but game resources, as far as what you can get, as far as cards and all from one set to the next set. But I would say definitely the best way. I personally am not like I don't really think teams are like a big thing in Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, at least competitively. It's not like it used to be back in like '05, '06. Overdose, Odyssey, Hunger Force, even team. I think it was Team Villain at one point. There's a bunch of teams, like there were actual competitive teams that were known in the competitive circuit all across like metagame and everything. Um, I guess now would be a cool way to get like a cool card pool, like a relatively decent card pool with like friends and stuff. Aside from that, just kind of just grinding. Like a lot of people, like they'll invest kind of stupidly into stuff, like just mindlessly. Like they'll buy like random packs, or they'll just invest in the things they don't need to invest in to get better. Like even if you're playing like a tier 2 or 3 deck or something that you just made like out of like just common and rare stuff, like not necessarily like just budget stuff. If you're just playing on a budget, if you're grinding every week at locals and you're like not wasting like let's say your locals gets credit or something, or you top and you like let's say from week to week you won't always win locals, but you'll top maybe like every other week and you'll get like I don't know, $10 credit or something. You just keep saving that, and then maybe you'll end up using that towards like a box or something. But you won't open that box. You'll end up selling the box, and you'll get money. and you'll keep doing that, and you'll start to accumulate funds, and you'll just be buying and selling. Like it's just kind of just being smart. It's like life. You guys kind of just like life as far as how you play the market. It's not so much about actually making profit of like high dollar cards. It's just about accumulating profit over a long continuous period of time.
Okay. Now, you remember the super duper hard question that happened to not be so super duper hard?
I don't actually.
Oh, yeah. Are there any shout outs you would like to give?
Oh, uh, shoot. Oh my god. Uh, I don't know. Just anyone trying to get competitive to you, of course. I guess that people should definitely sub to you. Um, shoot, I don't know, dude. Just anyone trying to be competitive. Obviously, to a lot of my friends. I don't know who will see this, but I guess go. I definitely have to plug ARG. They definitely help me out with a lot of stuff. They hook me up with a bunch of shit. So, go check out their articles, their site. They have pretty good prices for a lot of stuff. Um, shoot, I don't know. There's just a lot. There's a lot of things I could say.
All
A
right.
lot of people. I don't want to like forget someone specific, and then yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you, Alex, for joining us.
And yeah, sure.
And
Be on here, man.
and we'll see you next time with another Yu-Gi-Oh interview.